Hello, and welcome everyone. This is Anna Popławska speaking from Education Global. I'm very happy to welcome you today to our next Education Global webinar. Today, I have with me a wonderful speaker, Katarzyna Paśnicka from Langlion. Welcome, Kasiu. I'm
Hello.
I'm very happy that you accepted our invitation and you want today to talk to our wonderful audience.
I'm really
So
happy.
Before I turn on your presentation, guys, there are three rules. The webinar is being recorded. You will get the certificates tomorrow, and we have to be very nice to each other and to the presenter. All right, because Education Global is a very nice teacher community. So, Kasiu, I will turn on your presentation, and I will be here in case you need me.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello. I'm really happy today that I don't have to fight for your attention with some major football match. I don't think we took that into consideration when we were planning this webinar. My name is Katarzyna Paśnicka. I work for Primon, and the owner and creator of Langlion. And Langlion is an online platform for language school management. If you want to know more about us, just go to langlion.com and you can sign up there for a free trial, or you can ask for a live demo. And if you want to talk about how you can develop your school with Langlion, or how you can plan your future school, you can send me an email at kate@langlion.com. Okay, so today we will talk about steps that a person needs to take when he or she wants to create a language school. So it's very common among teachers that after a few years of working for different schools, you have your own ideas, methods that you want to implement without restrictions imposed by your boss. And you think that you can do this better, and you start thinking about creating your own language school. I'm really curious about your own life experience. I know it's a quite sensitive topic, but if you are willing to share your thoughts about that, is it something that you are dreaming about? Maybe you are perfectly happy working for someone else because managing finances, other people, and worrying about legal requirements of having a language school, it's not something that you think that's appealing to you. So I will be really happy, and I think that other people will appreciate if you can share your thoughts about that in a chat box. So because we have a very international company today in here, I won't be able to go into details about each aspect of running a business in your country, but still, the areas that a person needs to address will be pretty much the same for everyone. So this webinar will be just going through a list of things to do when you want to start your own school. Because a lot of language teachers have no business background, I will focus mostly on those business part of starting your language school. And actually, it's the best way to think about the steps that you need to take and plan everything ahead to avoid mistakes and to create a business model that later you can develop, you can scale when, as I'm sure, you will achieve a great success. So I will start with the first step. Before I start, I want to add a short disclaimer because although I try to prepare the most thorough list I could, you need to check requirements specific for your country, and maybe you need to check them with your lawyer, legal advisor, or accountant. So it's something that you need to have in mind. But we can start with our program for today. So the first step will be to distinguish yourself. So let's be honest, the market in some places is quite saturated for market for language school. So if there is something exceptional about you, unique, then it will help you to attract new clients. And how to find this unique feature? You can start with your why. So why did you want to have this language school in the first place? Why do you think it will be important for your community? If there's something special about your place, method, or interest, then you will have a better chance to attract new clients. If your why to start a school is just to run a profitable business, there's nothing wrong with that. You can start with that, but still, I will encourage you to find this unique feature, this characteristic that you want to use. So maybe you want to create a school where you will prepare people for exams, some type of exams. Maybe you love cinema and you want to use movies to teach, so it will be your theme. Or maybe you will just create a unique interior design. So maybe you will create a French cafe or anything that is attractive, that you love actually. You can also distinguish yourself by using some special tools. So for example, you can use e-learning platforms and where you can upload teaching learning materials that your student can use to prepare for next lesson or just to revise some information. You can, on those type of platforms, you can also create tests. So you can create a test for your students where they can simply check their knowledge, or you can prepare a test that will help them to prepare for a real exam in their life. And on some platform like the one I'm working for example, you can mark correct answers, so the test will be self-checked, of course, except from open questions. So think about this unique quality, find it, and it's really important because in this way you will be easy to recognize, easy to describe, and in this way you will be also easier to, it will be also easier to recommend your school. Okay, let's go to the next step. So it's to identify your target group. I will take a sip of water. So before you start, decide who you want to teach. Are you going to have courses for companies with business language? So are you going to have courses for children who will come to your school after classes in the regular school? Or are you going to have general courses, general language for grown-ups? And taking this decision at the beginning is very important because this decision is intertwined with other decisions. What are these other decisions? So it's marketing strategy, assessment of your competitors, choosing location, and prices that you will have in your school. Probably if you have a lot of contacts in business, you will simply expand this base of your contacts because it will be more organic than starting from the grounds up with, for example, courses for children where you don't have any experience or any contacts. When you choose your target groups, focus for a second on your competitors in your area. if some type of schools is very prevalent in your area, then maybe think about other type of other group if it's possible and you have contacts there. Maybe find some niche, or maybe if it's still possible, consider choosing another location. Of course, when your school will settle down, then you can expand your offer and you can have a wide range of courses in your school. So the next step will be to assess your competitors. We think about having competitors as something bad, but actually it's something really, really good because it proves that your product or service is really needed. And having competitors will give you a lot of answers for questions that otherwise you would have to work long and hard to get answer for. I don't recommend that you should go and copy any system and project of any other school, but you should go to the school, go to this website basically, to see what are their methods, how they teach, what are the prices, what prices they have, what is their marketing strategy. How they attract clients. It is all very important because we don't live in a vacuum, and you can be sure that if you don't do this, your clients will do it for you. They will compare prices, they will check their offer. You should always watch your competitors, even later in the process when you will have your school, and just check why why they're failing, why they grow, what they do to grow. Um, Basically, learning what develops their business. So basically, learning from other people's mistakes is much cheaper and much safer than learning from your own mistakes. And the next step that we have on the same slide is to choose location. So unless you're going to have your business 100% online, you need to choose a location for your school. And again, I will go back to competitors. You need to check what kind of schools are in this area, because you don't want to have exactly the same school as your next door neighbor. So what else should you take into consideration when you think about choosing location? First of all, you should ask yourself, are there any health and safety or legal requirements for location in your country? So maybe there is a specific height that a premise needs to have to be language school. Maybe you need to have back door. Maybe you need to be you can't be next to a shop with alcohol or something like that. Can you afford the rent? What is the rent? Is it stable? What will happen when you decide that you want to extend this contract, or if you want to resign earlier? And also consider public transport. Is this place easy to reach by public transport? Or maybe you will be in a densely populated area and your clients will reach you by foot. If you're going to have courses for children, is there a safe place where parents can deliver and pick up their children for classes? Are you going to have some parking space? It might be important for grown-ups. And generally think whether this location is close to your potential clients. Is that the best place to choose? So these are some questions that you need to ask yourself before you go to the next step. So probably legal registration of your company is one of less exciting part of creating your own business, but luckily it is something that you will do probably only once. But it requires a very thorough investigation. You need to be sure that you've done everything that is required in your country. Um, so you need to check all requirements for registration of a language school. Some questions that you need to ask are: do you need any kind of special qualification or permission to start a language school in your country? Do you need approval of some equivalent of Ministry of Education in your country? What type of legal entity you will have? How to register it? What will be the best for you? And are you going to have employees? What type of contract you will have with them? Where you need to register them? What type of insurance you need to pay for them? So these are some of the questions. And now the next step is about insurance. So as a school owners, you need to check options for insurance for your school. We don't like to think about bad things, but they happen sometimes. And when they happen, it's always the worst possible moment. You least expect them. And if you need to pay for damages from your own pocket, that's usually a lot of money. So to ensure financial stability of your school, you need to have an insurance, and it's just good for a peace of mind. So as a school owner, you need to know answer for what will happen in the situation when one of your students will break an arm in your school, or what will happen when you will have a pipe leak, or what will happen when one of your teachers will burn themselves with coffee. So you need to know what will happen. And I'm speaking here from my own experience, not about language school, but actually I had, it sounds improbable, but actually I had my apartment flooded twice in 2 years. And once it was because of the clogged gutter during an enormous storm here in Warsaw. And once it was because aquarium broke in the apartment above me. So it sounds improbable, but I was really happy that I had some insurance to cover at least some damages. So think about this step. Okay, and the next step is about data protection. Your responsibility as a school owner is to implement general data protection. General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR in short. Or if in your country this regulation is not applied, then check whether there is some equivalent, because probably there is. So you need to know what kind of documents you need to have, what types of procedures you need to implement. And for example, maybe it's training of your employees. For example, check what type of consent you need to collect from your students, or if they are children, then parents of your students, to, for example, be able to send newsletters. You need to also prepare clauses and privacy policy to put them on Facebook, on your Facebook account, and on your website. And most important part of this whole GDPR is you need to protect data of your clients, because in a language school, you will actually have a lot of personal information of your students. Data protection is not only legal requirement, it is something that can have a very positive influence on your image, because if your students feel safe with you, they have this feeling that their data is protected. You have a well-protected website. You don't collect unnecessary information about them. you don't run marketing campaigns without their consent, then they will have this really positive image of your school, and you have a better chance that they will recommend your school to someone else. Okay, and the next step we have on the same slide is about contracts. So before you sign up first students in your school to your school, you need to have a contract ready for them. So signing contracts with students or their parents is really important because it can ensure safety of your business and again peace of mind. Just like think about it as a type of insurance. You can also avoid a lot of unpleasant situation when you have a constructed contract. So if you have clearly stated in the contract what will happen, first of all, how much they should pay you, when they should pay you, how they can resign, what will happen when they won't attend classes, then you can avoid many unnecessary discussions. And actually, signing contracts is a really time-consuming task for a school owner or administrator of the school. But on the market, again, we have platforms and systems for language school management that can help you with that. So, for example, in the one I work for, you can create a template of a contract, and the system will fill those gaps that you have in a contract with information about your student, with information about the course, price of the course, and payment schemes. So it will be really helpful, and you can even mark this as e-document. And in this way, your student or parent of the student can sign it in the online. And in this way, you don't have to even print this contract. So in this way, you can save both time and money for paper and toner, and you don't have to also store a physical contracts. Okay. So now let's talk for a second about money and about finances of your school. So as a school owners, you need to think about money on few different levels. So first of all, you need to think about a general budget of your school. And you should carefully estimate your language school income and expenses. A good place to start is by working out all of your costs. So it will be, for example, salaries of your school, of your teachers, rent, electricity, etc. And also think about your income. So estimate prices for your fee for your courses. Estimate how many students you will have. Are you going to have any other source of income? So that's one level. And another level is to think about a day-to-day management of your finances. How will you manage? How will you handle payments from your students? It might look easy, but actually, if you have a lot of students and they pay you every month in installments, that is a lot of work, and it's very tedious, and you need to be very firm in that, and it's also time consuming. And don't forget that you need to remind your students about a due date. You need to remind them about remind daters that they forgot to pay you. And again, those platforms that are on the market and system, they can help you with that because they can send automatic notifications about a due date, and you can also inform your daters in this way. And you can also you can even use those platforms to import informations about payments from your bank and automatically create transactions, and you can also create automatically invoices, and you can even send them again automatically to your students. You can also integrate this type of platform with online payment tool like PayPal or PayU, and in this way will be almost completely automated. And you can again have automatically created invoices for those payments. So don't be scared. There are tools that can help you with payments. And of course, when you think about finances, there's one more level. You need to think about, you need to be on top of taxes, and you need to be about on top, you need to think about accounting. So maybe you need to hire someone who will help you, not full time, but for example, for a few hours a week. Sorry for a second. Oh, and one more thing about finances, you need to know for how many years you need to store your documents, and what type of documents you actually need to keep for eventual for some type of control. Okay, let's go to the next step. So let's talk for a second about using CRM. So CRM is customer relation. I'm sorry for my voice. Actually, I had a cold recently, and I'm still, I think, recovering from that. So CRM is short for customer relationship management, and it will be good if you start using this system just from the beginning. So CRM is an informatics system where you store all the information about your clients and also all the tasks related to them. CRM supports sales, marketing, and customer service. So it's very important in the school. CRM is important because if you create your own base of clients, then you can have different types of activities for them. So you can send them Christmas wishes, you can send them invitation for some kind of event that you will organize, or you can send them invitation to download, for example, an ebook that you've just prepared. And CRM is also very important from administrative point of view. One thing that you want to avoid in your school is storing a lot of information in heads and notebooks of your employees. You don't want to do that because if one of them will be on a sick leave or decides to change a job, then you can lose a lot of valuable information about your clients. And if you have them in the CRM, then if someone is absent, then you can simply delegate those tasks to another person, and you can keep the workflow in your school. And it's also very important for the customer service, because if you have notes about your clients, about their preferences, when you should contact them, or about some decision that they made, then you can give them a really good service, this post-sale service. That's really important because keeping a client that you already have is the most important task. It's easier and much cheaper than getting a new one. So take care of your clients. Okay, and you also need to take care of the administration in your school. If there's one thing that you need to have before you start your language school, that's good, reliable administration system. And there's a lot to choose from. You can simply start with Excel spreadsheet, but still you need to have some idea how you will manage those information that you have and how you will organize them. You can also use one of the systems that are on the market. And I will give you some tips for that. When you choose this type of platform or system, you should take into consideration a few things. One of them is customer service or technical support. You want to have some contact to a living, breathing person who can help you. So, is there some email where you can send your question and actually receive answer? Is there some phone number that you can call and speak with and talk with someone? Check that before you buy any type of service. Check whether the system developed, because it's very important, because as we know, everything changes. We went through a pandemic when we went from on-site classes to online classes only in 1 week. So does the system develop? Does the system reflect it? It's very important, because you don't want to have a system that will be outdated in a very short amount of time. Next step, next thing that you want to check is whether this system is module built. What does it mean? So maybe at the beginning, you can select only parts of the system that are really important for you, that you will use at the beginning of running your own language school. In this way, you should be able to optimize costs for your school. And when you will grow, maybe you can add another parts of the system and expand function of the system. And probably at this moment, you will be able to pay more for that. And check whether the system is relatively simple. I say relatively because you can't expect that the system will do the work for you, but you should be able to learn how to use it in a reasonable amount of time, and you should be also able to train your employees how they should use the system in a short amount of time. Okay. Okay, the next step is about hiring great talents for your school. So one single factor that will decide about the success of your school is actually quality of your service. You can have a great place, fantastic interior design, fantastic website, but if your teachers aren't great, if there's no one and students don't like them, and there's no one who can answer a phone call or answer an email, then your chances for success will drop. You need to focus, you need to hire people who not only have great resume, but they share the same values and work ethic that you have. I think that we can all agree that all great teams, they have this difficult to define something that that makes them fantastic. I think that actually it's probably just common goals, values, shared values, work ethic, sense of humor. So you don't want to have in your school great individuals, people with great skills, but people who can't work together, or even worse, who will start fighting against each other. So to create a good language school, you need to have a great team. So from the day one, just focus on attracting great people and hiring people who will create not on just who will create a great, fantastic team. Okay. Okay, so now let's talk about communication for a second. So at the beginning of your business, you will probably invest a lot of time and money in advertising, marketing, and you will put your phone number on your Facebook account, and and you will share your email with everyone. But it will be all in vain if there's no one who can answer a phone call or an email in 24 hours. Um, with all the technology that we all have nowadays, people are getting more and more impatient, and no one is ready to wait for an answer for many days. So you need to find a way to answer these phone calls and emails in a reasonable amount of time. So you can think about creating a templates for the most common answers that you can edit them very quickly and send them to your potential client. Um, you can also hire someone who will help you, or if you have already some employees, maybe you can ask them for help, delegate part of this communication process to them. And we very often think about communication like it is something very, very active, that we need to actively participate in communication. But actually, again, this is something that it's very easy to be automated. Um, those platforms that I've talked about, you can use them to automate your communication, because you can, for example, send notification. So you can send notifications about cancelled class that are cancelled, substitutions, and generally about other things that are changing in your schedule, for example. You can send notification about payments. And in this system, also your students or parents of the students, they can find a lot of information. So they will have this type of um, announcements that they can and information about their schedule that they don't need to ask you personally about many things. And also in those type of platform, you can use them for communication, so they can send an information inside the system to your teacher and to your secretariat to ask for something. And also they have also apps that can be used on mobile phones, so that can help you with communication, because it's really important to be in contact with your clients. Okay, and the next part is to think and talk about marketing and advertising. So basically, think how you will inform your potential clients, generally, how you will inform the world that now you have your own language school. Uh, and think also about the key elements that you want to talk about. You can start really, really small. So you can start with sources that you already have. So you can post some information on your personal Facebook account. You can post on LinkedIn, Instagram, etc. And when you want to attract new clients, for example, you can also use local Facebook groups. So if you're going to teach children, you can find a local group for parents, and you can advertise, announce, write something about your school there if it's possible in this group. And you can also act locally in a real world. So think about your contacts in a real life. So your potential client can be your hairdresser, car mechanic. You can speak with parents of other children in your child's school, for example. These are all potential clients. And you can use old-fashioned announcement, and maybe you can pin them on a community board. That's one of the options, how you can start really, really small with advertising and marketing. Of course, there are many tools, online tools, that are paid and not paid. that you can also use. And one of actually not paid, one of the tools that you can have for free is Google Business Profile. I think it's very useful because in this way you can turn people who will find you in Google search, for example, Google search and maps into your clients by basically having just like a business card, online business card. And if you want to have more information about marketing and advertising, I can invite you to our blog. It's blog.langlion.com/en, and you can find it at our website, langlion.com. And there's a lot of articles about that. So the next step will be to build your website. And having a website nowadays for a business is a must. It will make you look more professional than just having a Facebook account. So think about your website as an ambassador in the world of internet. So think about what would you like your ambassador to tell about you. And your website is a great place to write about your why, to introduce yourself, and I would recommend to speak in a language of benefits on your website, so you can give your potential clients information what they can get from signing up for your classes. On your website, you should have contact details, very precise, with a map and direction how to get to your school. You can have registration form, and if it's possible, you can combine it with some entry-level test, and in this way you can very simply, in a very easy way, check a level of your potential client. And you should have a price list. Don't be too mysterious about that, because they will find out about your prices anyway. And if you have some type of e-learning platform or platform for communication, like the one I've talked about, then you should have a very visible place where they can log in for this type of platform. You can also use your website to present yourself as an expert in your field. So you can, for example, link your blog there. You can make available some ebooks that you might create to download, and you can ask people, for example, to leave their email address, and they can, in this way, for example, in this way you can actually build your base of potential clients. What else you should take into consideration when you build your website? First of all, domain name. Check the best one for your country. If it's educational business, maybe it's possible to have this edu dot something. Be conscious about logo and layout. We will speak about it in a second when we will talk about branding. It should be clear and visible. You want your website to be attractive to clients, but also in the same spirit as other parts of your business, so in your interior design and social media. Check whether your website agrees with standard of website in the internet, and take into consideration structure of your website. It's very important for search engines, so you will have better search result if it's correct. And what else you should say? Oh, you should have clear and visible menu and responsive design. What does it mean? That means that your website should display correctly on mobile devices. It's very important because it is more and more popular that people use their mobile phone for internet. Okay. And the next step, start using social media. I know that many of us has this love-hate relationship with social media. I would argue that even if you are more on the hate side of this relationship, you should still use social media. You can use them to inform your clients and potential clients about your new courses, about changes, positive changes in your school, about maybe some ebooks that they can download on your website. And basically, you can use this for this lighter type of communication than your website. You can share more funny stuff, memes, maybe. You can share some personal story from your school. A very interesting trend actually among language school is, for example, on Instagram, they share some posts or short videos where they present some interesting phrases or idioms. And in this way, you build this image as an expert in your field, and you give this, you just build your own, I'm sorry, community in the internet. And the last step I have for you is to invest in branding. So at the beginning, it may look like some unnecessary spending, but I know from my conversations with small business owners that if you don't think about branding from the beginning, then later it can be a source of a headache, because at some point you will discover that your website, your interior design, and your social media, they all look like from different language school. So basically, this fact about branding is that it should be consistent. It shouldn't change too often, and it should be attractive, and people should have very um, they should see your website and immediately think about you. So it should be something very specific for you. To create a good logo and layouts and choose the right colors and fonts, etc., you might need some help, but don't be afraid, because you don't need to ask any some major agency to prepare that. That will probably cost a lot of money. But actually, you can ask some graphic designer, or you can just find in the internet some platforms that you can use, or where people actually can design it for you, and they can help you with that. So it's very important to make this decision at the beginning, because it will actually help you and probably even save you a lot of money. So I hope that those information were useful for you. And um, if having your own language school was a dream of yours, then I hope that now you have this feeling that it's something doable, that you have a lot of tools to use to make workload more manageable. And I will go to the comments for a second, because I see I have some comments. Okay. Hello from Czech. Hello. Red loss for. Okay. So Kent, I actually can't answer you this question at the moment, but I think I can try to get back to you with this with the answer. Okay. Oh, I will understand this. Okay. So yeah, I will try to prepare some answer for you, and we'll go back to you later. And if you want to talk about how you can, if first of all, you can send me an email when you want to talk with me about development of your language school at kate@langlion.com. And I think that Anya should paste some link, because if you sign up for a free trial of Langlion today, thank you, Anya, very much, then you will have 30 days of free trial instead of 14, as it is normal, regular for regular clients. I hope that I helped today. Oh, thank you very much for a nice word today. Okay. Anya, you are muted.
Yes,
We can hear you.
Kasiu, Yes, so very, very good presentation. Thank you very much for coming today. I'm not sure if Kenneth he is still with us because I saw also his questions. I think I have already answer for you, Kenneth. Kenneth, just write down if you are still with us. If not, I hope that this answer will reach you because I was thinking because I saw these questions, I had more time to prepare the answer. And when I think about this issue of preparing financially for opening a school, the keyword is budget and financial plan. I mean, business plan. So I think that there is a no normal or standard period of time when you can just be in the red basically and have a loss because you should have money, right, to earn and to make a living. So when I opened, because I opened Education 2017, yeah, so Kenneth is here, good. So I will just keep on talking. So I opened Education in 2017, and I had the same thing as you, Kenneth. I mean, the same doubt. And I remember that we planned to run 3 months with Louisa totally without making any money. So we just knew that for 3 months we have our savings, we have basically money to survive without the clients, without full groups, without selling all of our products. And basically we knew that 3 months will be our kind of deadline because otherwise we would kind of start going into debt. And to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of going into debt in the beginning of having your own business, because when you start your business, either you have money and you have a plan, or you start small and you just do everything carefully. That's my perspective. I'm a very, very careful person with money, and I love budgets. I love planning, and I really believe in forecasting. So if you don't have your plans and you don't have strategy to achieve the money, the groups, then basically you won't achieve it. So when you plan to, I don't know, earn first 1,000 euro per month, you have to just structure it. How many students you need to have, how many classes you need to run, how many teachers you need to hire. So that's everything that you can calculate, and you can just check it, and you just have to do everything you can to do it. But in the beginning, I always tell my students, because I'm teacher trainer, I always tell my teachers, yeah, that start small. If you don't have savings, if you cannot afford to go just to go into red, because in the beginning it's really, really very, very risky. And you know what, very sorry, Kasia, because I'm just kind of
No, that's
excited
perfect.
about this
Very,
question.
very
I
interesting
was
answer.
yeah, but usually in the beginning people start spending money like crazy, buying things that they don't really need to start making money. And just to kind of compensate for this, to have this feeling that they are doing everything they can to start making money. So instead of selling, instead of looking for clients, they just start spending money. And for example, renting two big offices, two beautiful offices, overspending. In the beginning, Education Global office was really very, very small. We started at our homes, then we just rented a very small building, then we had beautiful office, but everything was stage by stage. And you just have to keep your budget. So your budget and your business plan will tell you how long, because I wouldn't cannot say that there is a normal or standard time, then you can just be in the red. I would say you can be in the red as long as you can afford to be in the
Mhm.
red. So just write a plan, because in the plan you will see whether you can afford to open a small language school that you run, for example, online in the beginning, or you can rent just some rooms in a primary school, or in a different company where you just rent some rooms so you don't go into huge costs. So that's the things you do in the beginning, but you have to know your assets in the beginning, and just to kind of calculate it, right? So there is nothing normal, I mean, to be in the red. So, financial planning, business plan is the key. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry,
Great
Kasia, I'm
answer.
super excited about
Yeah, that's really
it.
a great answer
All right.
because you have,
Mhm.
yeah, this experience from your own business. So that's really interesting. Yeah,
Exactly,
that's
guys.
why I
I
also.
have. Mhm.
Mhm.
Sorry. Because there
That's
is
why
a
I was
small
telling,
delay,
for
so when I start speaking, you also start speaking. All right. Yes, I
Okay.
have to tell you that Kasia's today had our her first webinar with Education Global. So
Yes,
Kasia,
that's true.
congratulations on your
Thank you.
beautiful first performance. So guys, you can say that because I already saw some comments that the guys were, I mean, people were very, very happy to have you here. So Kasia, thank you very much for coming.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much for preparing this great presentation. So guys, you can test a Lang Lion platform with the link provided by
Mhm.
Kasia. I will paste it again here. Lang Lion is a very, very nice, and to be honest, personally, my favorite software for managing language schools. So there you can everything from finances, invoices, and stuff. So if you want to try it out, you just can log in for free and just test it for a month, and so you will see it's a huge game changer in Poland, and I believe now around the world. So
Yes.
I hope that you will want to test it out, because that's my
Okay.
number one that I would recommend for managing and for running language schools. Good. And the last question for you guys before you all escape, because I forgot to ask you, what countries are you from? Because that's so
Yes.
interesting for me, right? Because of course I can check it in statistics later on, but there's just numbers because I'm Big Brother. I can check such things, but let's
Mm.
just wave and say bye bye from which countries? Okay, which
Mhm.
countries? I already saw some Czech Republic watching us.
Yes. There's.
Yes, so I know that at least two people are from Czech Republic, because when I was just checking which countries people logged in. So we had Czech Republic, we had Slovenia today, we had Ukraine, and we had Poland. So we'll see if there are people from different countries as well. Okay, and
Oh,
Germany.
Germany. Hello.
Yes, Mickey L from Germany. Good. As yeah, and Poland.
Oh,
Okay, Marta. Okay, very very
fantastic.
nice. So I'm very very happy to have our international Thursdays. All right, so I think we can be quickly finishing. So thank you very much, guys, for coming. Oh, Dominican
Dominican Republic.
Republic.
Exciting.
Some,
Really exciting.
very lucky people. Okay. All right, so Dominican Republic. All right, because it's absolutely cold in Poland. So when I see
Yeah.
Dominican Republic as a place of residence, jealous is the only word which comes to my mind. Okay, so let's I think wrap it up. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Remember that there will be in Norway. So there will be another webinar I think coming next month, which will be also for free. And I'm not sure if I will be running it or not. Okay, I forgot the schedule, but it will be for sure very, very interesting, no matter who the trainer is.
Slovakia.
All right. So bye bye, Brian from
From
Slovakia. All
Slovakia.
right. So I hope, guys, that you are going to come again. I hope that you're going to take part in our next webinar. Thank you all, and for some people, good night. For some people, have a good day, because I know that some of you will have a good day today. Bye bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.